Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off by saying, Kal Halal Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, or by Shem HaKodash. I'm going to give double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, shalom and salutation to all you sincere occupants across the four winds, pushing this truth for sincerity of heart. Of course, it's Kasat Magan from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, edifying the elect. Just want to make a video update on, pretty much a World War III update. Prophetical update of something I've been watching through the spirit, a major prophecy I've been watching through the spirit, and it's really talking about going into Turkey exiting NATO. You know what I'm saying? And I seen this title when I was at work, so I was in a hurry. I was like, man, I can't wait to get back to the crib, man, and really just dive into this and see how close we get into this prophecy being fulfilled, and how close that's going to bring us to this ultimate war, World War III, that's spoken of in the Bible. Basically, as you see right here, this is RT News, and the title, as it says, Turkey versus NATO. Now, as you brothers know, Turkey is, on paper, Turkey is a part of NATO. But if you've been watching, like the scripture says, if you've been watching, then you know that that there's a lot that's been going on with Turkey and NATO. Now, let me start off with getting this scripture. This is, of course, King James Bible Online.org on the Apocrypha. We go to this website when you want to get scriptures out the Apocrypha. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 39, verse 1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies." So you got to seek out the wisdom of all the ancient by reading the book, the whole book. And then, when you read the whole book, the more you read the Bible, the more you understand it's really a book of, prophecy, man. It's about faith and prophecy. That's what the Bible's about. It's about, and even Yahushua, when he came in the scene to fulfill prophecy, man. So now let's go back to the article. It says Turkey versus NATO. It says, will Ankara's Syria incursions destroy ties with partners? As you see, right, because as you know, Turkey is actually at war right now against the YPG, which is the Kurdish forces. Now let's read a little bit about it. It says, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrives to NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, May 25, 2017. Now it says NATO member Turkey appears to be straining the patience of allies with its operation in Syria's northwest. But just how far can the ties stretch before they snap? Like, how long will it, and that's pretty much what it is. How long is it going to take, and how much does Turkey have to do to be bounced out of there, man? Turkey wants out. They want out. They just want a good enough reason to be out. But it's all according to prophecies. I'm going to show you that eventually, this is a major move. Eventually Turkey is going to be out of NATO. There's no doubt about that, because that's biblical. It says, Turkey's anti-terrorist operation in the Kurdish area of Afrin, northwest Syria, looks set to expand, with Manbij and Idlib being voiced at the next targets, as Turkish troops, along with their Free Syrian Army (FSA) allies, march into village after village to clear them from Kurdish terrorists. Ankara's NATO allies don't seem particularly thrilled about the intervention. Why? Because America funds the YPG, the Kurdish forces. Like I said, the United States of America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter of Babylon, spoken of in the book of Revelation, a.k.a. the evil empire, has always funded terrorism, man. America founded the Taliban. America founded Al-Qaeda. They wrote books about it. Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote books bragging about, and this guy was part of the Ministry of Defense or some shit, way back in the 70s during the Cold War or some shit. They wrote books how they bragged about coming up with the pretty much setting up the Taliban, man, creating a Taliban to fight the Russians, the Soviet, how they came up with Al Qaeda and the ISIS and all that, man. So you know America's the evil empire, man. So that's what America does. Now Turkey is tired of this shit. So now they want to destroy their number one enemies that's always been in their borders, which are the Kurds. And America sides with the Kurds. So now you have what? You have infighting, man. Now it says the president and foreign minister of France have warned Turkey against the invasion and accused it of adding war to war, albeit in interviews, not official statements. Germany went a step further than words and froze all decisions in supplying weapons to Ankara, which Germany and Turkey's been bumping heads. I mean, this dude Erdogan called Germany, modern Germany, he called them Nazis, man. He said they're still operating like old Nazis back in 1945 under Adolf Hitler. So they got pissed off of that. So the Germans don't fuck with Turkey. America's not really fucking with Turkey right now. So a lot of the NATO nations, France, the top NATO nations ain't fucking with Turkey. Turkey's going to get bounced out of there, man. And it's all prophecy. And it's major because as I'm going to show you in the map, you look at the strategic location of Turkey, it is major. And it's a major location when it comes to this Third World War. It says, but all of the NATO allies, but of all the NATO allies, it's the U.S. that has the most tangible stake in the convoluted situation, and it's the U.S. that has been sending the most mixed signals. Right, because the U.S. supposed to support Turkey because they're NATO allies, but at the same time, they support Turkey's enemies, which are the YPG Kurdish, which are according to the Turks have named them, called them terrorists. They looked at as recognized by the Turks as a terrorist group. So it says Kurdish fighters in Syria have enjoyed American support until very recently, as they did some of the heavy lifting in the fight against Islamic State or ISIS, formerly known as ISIS, terrorists. However, late in 2017, U.S. President Donald Trump promised to end arms supply to the Kurds. In January 2018, U.S.-led coalition spokesman Ryan Dillon made it clear that Africa in particular is not an area in interest. So the more you read in the more, because it's a long article. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but the more you read it, the more you understand that NATO is gonna lose one of their most important members, which is Turkey, whether they know it or not. But that's just prophecy. We know that because the scripture speaks about it. So how do you know? It's simple. You got to go to Ezekiel 38. Now, Ezekiel 38, the 30th chapter. Prophet Ezekiel prophesied about this. He prophesied about alliances that would be made in this upcoming Third World War. So Ezekiel 38, I'm going to jump straight down to verse 5. I'm going to start at 5. And it says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Now, verse 36, which is the main point, it says, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with him. And remember, when you read Ezekiel, when you started the first verse, or the first verse on down, it's the Lord is speaking about Russia. Saying in the Bible, the names that you would see is Gog and Magog. Now, how do you know that Gog and Magog is Russia? How do you who is Gomer? Because the main point of this breakdown is Ezekiel 38:6 when it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah. Now, what you have to do, you have to go to the past. The scripture says, when you go back to Ecclesiasticus, what does it say? Ecclesiasticus 39:1, it says, but he that giveth his mind to the Lord the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. So you got to go back to the past. So the first thing you have to do, you got to go to the ancient map. So you look at the biblical words and you look at the ancient map. Now, what is God? When you go to Ezekiel 31:1, it says, and 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesied against them. Now, when you look at that, you look at the ancient map. The ancient map, the location that you see up in the upper right corner, Magog, Meshech and Tubal. When you see that, you go and transfer to the new map. Let me see that. Let's wait. Let's get the new map pop up. Now, when you look at the new map, Do you see that? It's up Russia on down to Kazakhstan, to Uzbekistan. You know, what's that? Kazakhstan. So all those stands that you see, you know, it's talking about what? It's talking about Magog, Gog and Magog. Now the main point of this video, since we talking about Turkey, you know, said remember now when you go back to Ezekiel 38 and 6, it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah. So you come back to the old map and you see the location of Gomer. See, as you see right there, Gomer is located where? Gomer, Togarmah. Where is that located? Is located in what you would know today as Turkey. You know, Turkey, right there. And look at, and the reason why, again, the scripture prophesies that Turkey is going to side with Russia, China, and Iran. You know, in this upcoming world's war. So and the reason why I keep on watch on this because you got to look at military strategy. You know, when you think about geopolitical strategy. And you know that the main culprit in this Third World War is the land of Israel. So when you locate the land of Israel, right? You locate the land of Israel, then what do? You look at the surrounding nations around Israel. Because remember, Israel's number one target is Iran. So the nations that need to be taken out so that Israel could have easy access to Iran is what? Iraq. Iraq got taken out, right? And Syria, which Syria is in the process kind of halfway taken out, halfway not. You know, so Egypt was already taken out, so Israel wouldn't have to worry about their backs. Libya, which is right next to Egypt, was taken out, so Israel wouldn't have to worry about their backs. Saudi Arabia belongs to what? To NATO and the United States as far as allies, so Israel won't have to worry about them. And I mean, that's their mindset. Remember, that's the mindset, right, of the elites working through Israel, right, and them so-called Jewets. Now, when you looking on top Israel's head, on the north side of Israel, you see Turkey. So Israel didn't used to worry about Turkey because Turkey, you see that massive land, which is Gomer. They didn't have to worry about them because they're thinking, well, hey, we're going to use Turkey to bomb Iran. But now what they don't understand is the Lord is going to have Turkey side with Iran, China, and Russia. So that's going to mean that what? Now Israel is going to be vulnerable in Syria and vulnerable in Turkey, which is coming from the north. So Israel, that's why Jeremiah 49 said that what? The least of them shall draw them out. This is all them so-called Jewets and, you know, and living in the land of Israel starting this shit, man, with the Rothschild and the Rockefeller. You know, they're starting this Third World War, but really it's all through the spirit of power, how about Shemot, man. The deceive and the deceiver are his. So I'm expecting this move to happen, really soon, man. Of course, there's gonna be some things that must happen, like race wars. You gotta have race wars, and then a microchip, and then the collapse of the economy. Certain things, but I don't see Turkey remaining into NATO for too long. You know, I think this is gonna start to happen because that's a major move. That's a major prophetical move right there. Just because of the landscape of the landmass and the importance of Turkey in the Middle East. So basically, that's just an update on this upcoming World War III. I'm just gonna finish with this scripture right here. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 13. 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 13. It says, "Go and ye shall receive. Pray for few days unto you, that day may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch." So that's exactly what we're doing as prophets. You hear Great Millstone, starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, man, Apostle Tohar and Dale, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shirel Shabbat Shabbat, man. We waiting for the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, man. And we know that the spirit of Yahweh Shai is already here. That's why his spirit is kindling fires and wars and alliances, wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes. That's the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Now we just waiting, carefully and patiently waiting for the man himself to arrive. So, that's all we do as prophets, man. Warn the elect so you can prepare your soul, prepare your mind, strengthen your faith, and get your household in order, man. Both internally and externally, So basically with that, hopefully brothers was edified, man. Keep watch on this. I'm going to say, of course, Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaKudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to you, sincere Akim, Sakosa, 4 wins. Stay strong.